Once again, it's on. You are now watching a brand new episode of Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sap. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you, it seemed like ever since Kevin Stefanski was fired from the Cleveland Browns as their head coach, all the real true feelings are now starting to circulate over the airwaves. Now, we saw a lot of things that was being said when Kevin Stefanski was the head coach and people was backing him up. Now that he's been gone, it seems like everybody has turned their back on Kevin Stefanski, and now all the true feelings have come out. But we got to talk about it right after this.
Let me put you on game. These other podcasts out here talking that shit, but ain't repping the same. It's my bro K-Sap, chopping up topics for your optics. From politics to top picks. Tune in, you gotta watch this. Exclusive material for your radio stereo, pumping high definition. Stop what you doing and listen. We smashing all competition. You better jump on this wave. Somebody pass me a mic, man. I got something to say.
My, guys. How quick has the Cleveland media turned their back on Kevin Stefanski ever since he's been fired? And it seems like a lot of people's feelings are starting to come out and they're starting to speak the truth. See, they didn't want to speak the truth when Kevin Stefanski was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Now the truth is starting to circulate. Now, we did a show and produced a show yesterday about Tony Grossi. He finally admitted that Shedeur Sanders was being sabotaged because we heard what Tony Grossi said in the past about Dylan Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders. He saw a couple practices. He said that Dylan Gabriel just looked better. He said he threw a better ball than Shedeur Sanders, a tight spiral, put it in windows where nobody could do. And he said he just had the upper advantage over Shedeur Sanders. Now, we heard what Tony Grossi really had to say ever since Kevin Stefanski was fired and ever since he saw Shedeur Sanders on the NFL field. His tone has changed and he is now riding this Shedeur Sanders wave. Now, we've heard what Jason Lloyd had to say, and he's been cooked several times by a lot of people in the Cleveland media, such as G. Bush. We produced shows where we cooked him as well. Now, Ken Carman on the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. Last week, he really went at Jason Lloyd and exposed him for being a hater of Shedeur Sanders, even borderline racist. Now, Jason Lloyd is still in a heap of trouble with Ken Carman. And Ken Carman is not letting up. And Ken Carman's true feelings are now starting to circulate ever since Kevin Stefanski has lost his job as head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Now, Ken Carman hasn't held back on things that he said pertaining to what Jason Lloyd has said. And Ken Carman's true feelings are now being circulated through social media and on the airways of 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. And Ken Carman has some interesting things to say. And it seems like Ken Carman is on this notion that Shedeur Sanders is the best option for Cleveland at this particular moment. And everything that was going on in the Cleveland Browns organization this year in 2025, where a lot of people was saying bad things about Shedeur Sanders, and it seemed like the reason they was saying that is because they was protecting Kevin Stefanski. It seemed like everybody was trying to side with Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's not sabotaging Shedeur. I just don't think Shedeur is ready. And everybody was feeding into that narrative. Now it seemed like ever since Kevin Stefanski is gone, a new narrative has come out. And Ken Carman stood 10 toes down, not backing off of Jason Lloyd, but Jason Lloyd's asinine comments about Shedeur Sanders. So let's take a listen to what Ken Carman had to say on 92.3 The Fan with Anthony Lima this morning. And it's kind of mind-boggling that these guys are switching up that fast because now Kevin Stefanski is gone and it seems like they're throwing Kevin Stefanski under the bus, pointing Kevin Stefanski as the major problem that Cleveland had going on, and it wasn't Shedeur. So let's take a listen to what Ken Carman had to say.
When I give the stats, the advanced numbers, when you ask how I thought he played, and I'll say a few nice things, but I'll say a lot more negative right now at this stage. I'm being told that Shedeur deserves better, that he needs a more uplifting media. We should be out to uplift rookies and young players.
I don't think it's like that. I don't think that he needs that. I also firmly disagree. I don't want to step in it, but I firmly disagree with Jason last week. I'm like, you want him cut. Why do you want him cut? You want him cut because you're tired of seeing people say nasty things to you on the internet? Do you want him cut because it's hard to cover him? Do you want him cut because when you say you don't think he's a good quarterback, that he's got a big fan base and they go after you for it? Is that why you want him cut? Because wanting a guy cut from a team is a very strong thing to say. Saying that we should move. Why? You don't do anything for the media. You don't do anything for that. If you want him cut from the team, it should be because he's a detriment to the actual team. Now, I don't know all the story. Maybe we'll find out that he's a terrible teammate. I don't think we will.
Wow.
But if you found out a guy was a terrible teammate and not that good, that's a reason to cut the guy. Just because we're bickering amongst each other about a quarterback doesn't mean the guy should be cut. I thought it was a crazy thing for him to say, and I stand by it. And I'll say it to him to his face, and I told him on the phone, and I'll tell him on the air again.
Wow.
I love Jason. I disagree firmly because I think we've lost our minds. Especially when it comes to him, I think we're nuts. I cannot state to you guys enough. I'm going to go on a bit of a soliloquy here. You can stop me if you want. Go right on ahead. Like some of the stuff I read over the weekend, I thought it was insane. Insane. I told you guys a million times over. Browns first. Browns first. Not Shedeur first. Browns first. If you guys want to call Shedeur fans a cult, go right on ahead. If you want to call anti-Shedeur fans some sort of a cult, fine. I just want to let you guys know I'm part of neither of them. He's the quarterback for the Browns, and as of right now, he's the best option that they have. To me, it's not Deshaun, and it ain't Dylan Gabriel.
Wow.
If you guys want to have conversations this coming off season about Mac Jones and about Malik Willis and about just about anybody else, there's a couple of guys absolutely I'm not interested in whatsoever, certainly. But if you guys want to have conversations about those guys, I am perfectly fine for it. It's Browns first. That doesn't mean anti-Shedeur. It means I want what's best for the football team. As of right now, he's the best option. He's shown me enough. If they ended up getting John Harbaugh and John Harbaugh goes, he's got to go, I would like a plan after that of what he wants to do. If John Harbaugh thought that Mac Jones is going to set the world on fire and we got to get Mac Jones, so be it. So be it. If we can find a way to get number one overall without having to give up the entire draft Mike Ditka style, so be it. But my God, some of you guys have lost your minds wanting to cut a guy. Well, the fans are mean to me. I don't give a damn how mean the fans are. I just want to give anybody a chance on the team. I've had guys who flat out hated me.
Wow. That was explosive, man, because where was all this at during the regular season when Katz was saying this derogatory stuff toward Shedeur Sanders being elevated as the quarterback and people potentially wanting Shedeur Sanders to play? It was a lot of backlash. But now it seems like all the true feelings are coming out. Ken Carman, man, he just kind of really exploded on Jason Lloyd. And it's almost like shots fired at Jason Lloyd. In one sense, he's saying, I love the guy. I love Jason Lloyd, but you shooting shots at him. Like this was directly aimed at Jason Lloyd. Your whole soliloquy was predicated around things that Jason Lloyd was saying, because Jason Lloyd has been attacked by people on social media. And, Ken Carman alluded to that. So now that, like I stated, I'm going to keep saying this till I'm blue in the face. Why did all this now have to come out that Kevin Stefanski was fired? It seems like the media was for Kevin Stefanski in trying to undermine and throw Shedeur Sanders under the bus. And Ken Carman just called it out and exposed everything. And it's kind of asinine that we at this point, because what did he say? Shedeur Sanders is the best option, not Deshaun Watson, not Dylan Gabriel. So all the things that people were saying about trying to give Dylan Gabriel his kudos and he should be the Cleveland Browns quarterback, knowing that at that particular time, Shedeur Sanders was the better option, but they never gave him a chance, and he was always playing from behind. And the thing about it is, no first-team reps. If y'all would have started Shedeur Sanders off, I think this Cleveland Browns organization would have been better suited. They would have made a name for themselves. They would have competed in that AFC North. They could have caused problems. They went out on a high note by Shedeur Sanders winning the last 2 games of the regular season against the AFC North opponents in the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, y'all guys get down in the comments section, man. This is crazy work. Get down in the comments section. Let me know what y'all think about today's video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. I see everybody in the comments section. Hashtag salute. Just in case I forgot, tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.